All right, let's get started. Heavenly Father, help us to make the right decisions for the people of Alcona County. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Yes.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Brumman. Here. Bridges.
Here. Here. We're taking out, one item on a new business, the volunteer drive policy, and we're adding Doug Teague to presentations for the EDC and broadband. That being said, I will accept a motion to approve the minutes for February 19th.
Can you also add new business, that resolution for the letter of support?
New business resolution for letter of support. Anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes for February 19th?
Second.
Moved to seconded. Any comments, concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Public comment, limit 3 minutes. No public comment today, all right. No public comment, then we'll go right into presentations, Mr. Doug.
So. Few things in front of you that I've got with me today. First, I want to know if you got a chance to read, the capital monthly stats.
Yep, very small.
Okay, just a couple things I want to point out. Tim has made it, we got a list of preferred providers, last week, end of the week. There were 19 providers for the state of Michigan that are going to be vying for BEAD money. Not necessarily in Alcona County, but all over the state. Tim does believe there are a couple on that list that might want to go after some of the 3,500 in the county. They were Frontier. And here it is, Mercury Broadband. Because they're in good graces again, because they paid all their penalties and whatever. But it's just important to know that this is still a competitive grant application. And so that leads me into the next thing that we need to be sure we get done that we can control, because there are a lot of things in there we can't. But going through his list, they're moving right along. We were accepted into that short list. So that was a big feather in Sherry's cap, because they worked really hard to get that pre-application done. Okay, there's a lot of information. If you get a chance, they also listed on this report the number of eligible households by township, by city, and by village. I don't think the village is in here because they're not registered as a legitimate unit of government. They don't come up on any maps.
Huh.
So I don't know what the story is there. So leading into the importance of these letters of support from elected officials in all of our units of government. There are 13 of them, plus this group. And I'm going to define elected officials just so it's clear with everyone. We're not just talking about treasurers and clerks and supervisors. We're talking about boards, the people that are elected on those various boards. So I did an audit, which I gave everybody before the meeting, and you've got it there on the front. We've been at this since right after the MTA meeting. Craig, that was in early February.
Yeah.
From that point on, I put out 3 different notices to the full list of all 13 units of government, their treasurer, their clerk, and their supervisor. I didn't know all the names and have all the addresses for the board members, but I was assured that one of those 3 people, a clerk, a supervisor, or a treasurer, would manage to get it out to their boards. Okay, so I roll fast forward to this morning. I did an audit on how many letters we received from that group, those 13 units. 7 responses. Now, I did a little calc there, the first paragraph at the bottom. If you assume 5 members for each, because some have less and some have a couple more, So I took 5 as an average, multiplied it by by 13 units. We should have 65 letters. Sure, that would be the best of all worlds. That doesn't include Alcona County, which you all have 5 here, yourself, the clerk, the register of deeds, all elected officials. So we're in the 11th hour. The deadline for these letters is a week from Friday. And whatever we get, we get. But everyone we don't get, we're hurting ourselves. And we go in this going further in. So with the kind of competition that I'm seeing out in the field, we need everything we can get our hands on. So I just wanted to be sure everybody was aware of that. Feel free to get those letters if you want. You can have them sent. I sent a bunch of attachments and reminder emails. You can send that to somebody. They can fill out the information if they need to. It's minor, a date, a name, an email, and an affiliation. But physical letters have now been printed up for all your units of government meetings this week. So hopefully we can get just right over the highlighted spot. You can do that physically. Get those physical letters in, aggregate, somebody take the responsibility to aggregate it here. I don't know who wants to do that, but bring all your letters to. Bring them to Craig. I have to get them to Tim, but I can do that and get my hands on them. It takes time for them to put all that information into the portal before the application is due on April 9th. So. Okay, so, and the other thing that's on this group of papers is we were contacted by a single provider to provide a letter of support for their effort in BE. And I alerted you guys, I think it was last week when I was in here, that I thought that we should do a resolution to protect us from, with a generic letter of support, so that nobody can say that we just said no to everybody, because we're talking about public meeting here. So that's what this resolution is about. It's pretty self-explanatory. If we get that done today, then you've got it in place. I know that there's one provider right now.
One has contacted me.
Yeah, one has
Not
contacted.
only they were gonna provide maybe their own or.
Well, you're welcome to
Whatever.
wait. I just gave you an option.
Yeah.
You know, you're welcome to wait to see what their letter says, but
Well, I guess we could put that in the resolution, but it'd have to be approved by us, so I could sign their letter unless we like it.
right. The template one I sent was just a
I think
general,
it fits in here. It says that if they have a request for a letter of support, either ours or theirs, and
Yeah.
we decide.
right. So that's probably, there may be a couple before we get to the deadlines here.
Well, this will set us up for B2, if there is a B2.
Yes.
We'll be all set for that.
Yes. So the idea there was just give you some cover. So, any questions?
What do you think about all these cuts that are happening at the feds? Leading down to this, is this gonna be something we should be afraid
The
of?
money's been distributed out already, I think.
Tim refers to this in his report. There was a group called the NIST. I don't know what their acronym stands for. Supposedly, the NIST was to approve the BEAD money before the BEAD money was distributed. And now the BEAD money, he says the director is reluctant to allow BEADs to continue. Now, I don't know if that means the next BEAD or the next BEAD, or they're gonna try to get in the middle of this. If they want to review it, Tim said it might be a 2-month delay. But if they say, well, okay, you know, I was under the bridge on this one, so we'll just do this next time. I don't know. I don't have any visibility like anybody else. Who knows? What time is it? You know,
It'll all change tomorrow.
yeah. They all change by 2:00. So, you know, this is just the information as we're squeezing down to the deadline. These are the things that are coming up. I'm trying to keep everybody as informed as possible. But I'm not sure there's much more we can do except get those letters. We did great on the community side. We have over 400 letters of support from the community. But the weight, the points for the elected officials, the community was 2 points. Elected official letters are 8 points. So that's significant.
Okay.
Okay, no other questions?
I don't think so.
Look at your meeting.
Thank you.
You know where to find me if you gotta bring them in here, just give them a tag and I'll get my hands on them.
We just laid them on your desk
You know what, put them on my mailbox, that'd be the best.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you check it all the time?
The letters will be in my mailbox.
No, that's where I draw the line, Craig.
Probably,
It's in the
mine
clerk's
probably
office.
overflows into yours, so there's probably no room.
So the mailbox
Okay,
upstairs is
yeah.
where you are.
In the
Okay.
staff's office.
Thank you.
Maybe she can get a folder that says.
Yeah. Craig sold it, my.
Well, the good news is, I think we have one more payment,
Pardon?
April. A payment to chair,
Last year, that's a little payment.
one more.
Do we have a thing we can burn in a party, like a mortgage?
I was thinking-
We can make something up.
I
I was
don't
thinking
know.
fireworks on the land.
Anyway. No unfinished business today. New business, we'll start with claims.
Hey, I'd like to make a motion to approve pre-authorized claims and open claims presented for payment between February 19th of 25 and March 4th of 25 for check numbers 156-905 to 157-007 and e-checks 2569 to 2582 for a grand total of $598,439.64.
I will second. Any questions or concerns? Roll call.
Mom,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Next item on new business is a resolution for the letter of support, talked about by Doug. You want to make a motion to,
I will.
So moved. Passage of resolution 2025-6.
I'm sorry, did you say 6?
Yes, I did.
for a second?
Support.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Resolution should be roll call.
Johnston,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Mom,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
Brumman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Do we wanna approve the letter now, or do we wanna wait until it comes to,
We can approve that generic letter. I'm sorry with that. You want to make a motion to do that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve this generic letter for letters of support for the BD grant application.
I'll support that.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Finance report. Well, we didn't meet today. We should probably try to schedule something next week. Talk about, the upcoming audit and
You get a date on that yet or not?
so we can schedule for one of us to be around when stuff's happening.
Okay.
So, let's shoot for, I don't have my calendar anywhere.
I have a security meeting Monday.
You'll be in that building Monday.
I will be in the building.
Is Cheryl, would you be available Monday afternoon? No, you're not. You probably wouldn't be, would you? Maybe like at 3 o'clock on Monday? That'd be okay? Nice meeting. We
Yeah.
talked about that. We talked about some other stuff that's rolling around. I'll try to put an agenda together. Cheryl, to your knowledge, we don't need to move any money around today.
No.
We'll move on to personnel. Greg, you want?
Yeah, so personnel met this morning, we continued discussions on, the position that we had talked about for equalization, creating that part-time person. We were still in talks with the union to make sure it's all right with them, but, the anticipation is that we, move the part-time position that's in the register of deeds office now, make her a full-time position. She will float down to equalization to do data entry on the records, card records, for approximately 12 hours per week or 24 per work week. And then the rest of the time should stay in register of deeds.
Does that not need to be posted?
The union did not think it did because it's a current, the person's only getting raised from part-time to full-time. So in her full-time duties, she's gonna do this other job. So there's not gonna be a new person. It's the same person.
A different position.
Well, that was their interpretation, was that,
I think to be on the safe side, I think it needs to be posted.
well, they didn't think it needed to be, but I'll ask them.
So no one can come back in a
Well,
month
but
and
it's-
say, I
So,
would like
but we're
that
only
position.
posting a 12-hour job, I guess, if you want, I mean, I don't know what they want, if they feel like they need to. Cause that job will only be about 12 hours a week.
So,
and I'm not in favor of it, but, you know.
Yeah. We'll run it by the union again, if they feel like they need to do that, that's what they need to do with their membership, and if they sign off and say we don't need
Whose
to,
responsibility is it to post? Is it the union's or is it ours?
union,
It's the union's?
yeah, it's their position, they're their people.
Oh, it's not their position, it's our position.
Well, it's our position, but it's their people. Yeah, they're the ones who send the list, not us.
So we never have to post an opening then. Is that a true statement?
no, that's not.
No, that's
We
not.
post the opening.
Well,
But they decide on seniority, it goes around and the way they send their list, that's all dependent upon them, I think, and whoever their senior people are, however that works, I don't know how their internal workings are for the union. They have their own protocols on who can put their name in for a position or not, that's not up to us.
I just think for the assurance,
I will either have them do it or have them sign off and say this, we do not need
the
this.
sign off is.
Yeah.
Adequate.
Okay. We can do
Yeah,
that.
that's a good idea, yeah, thank you.
I'm
That's
sorry, I
yeah.
just think we need
Yeah,
to,
that's good.
No, we'll have them sign off for sure. I mean, it was only verbal, so I'll just make sure they sign off and say,
Yeah.
we don't feel the
No,
necessity
that's
to.
valid,
Thank you.
thank you.
and as I said, I still I don't think we need to make that a full-time position. Because I don't think we need to also staff equalization.
So again, just to add on to what that is, it's only probably a 2 year, well, however long it takes to do.
Is
this.
it an hour?
An hour what?
Is it gonna be an hour down there?
You said 12 hours a week.
Well, that's kind of
An
the
hour or more?
guideline. Well, yeah, it could
Then,
be 20, but
My,
it's a temporary job, so the job will end,
define temporary then, please.
when the record cards have been inputted. I don't know what the time frame on that is. Could be
No, I don't think
a
we need to do it.
year, could be 2 years for that to happen,
We are
based on the
so-
part-time.
We are so squeaking on money. That I just don't see it.
Yeah, we,
But-
I think we gave the finance the financial hit that could be, I don't remember what it was. Was it like 11,000, 12,000?
Yeah, once personnel has all the
Yeah,
kinks ironed out, we will email the final package to
Yeah.
all the commissioners. And I anticipate that would be probably by Tuesday or Wednesday next week. And then, we can, you can have some time to review it.
so that was the only thing we met with, today. Our other situation there with, EMS, there's been no contact, so there's still a week or so left, I think, of the 15 days. So if anything comes in, I'll let you know.
That should be it, eh?
Yeah, that's it.
Treasurer's report?
Sure, we are at a point in the foreclosure process. March 31st is the final payment date. We have 66 properties, at this time. Which is pretty standard. We have, as of today, we have 400 parcels that were turned over from delinquency to forfeiture. And the over 12,000 parcels that we are reviewing for the townships. for the delinquencies. Rough estimate with one outstanding township has not given me their backup. It may be there this morning, but I wasn't there this morning. We're looking at, last year we paid out over 1.8 million. And depending on what they come in at, when I took the statistics from the last backup I got from that particular township, we were over 2 million. A big chunk of what we are paying out is on Viking Energy. They have not paid their taxes. That's a huge liability for a very small township. And we pay that out. The personal property, we don't collect. The township's responsibility is to collect that, and unfortunately, some of the personal property is, I was informed that it was sold. That's non-recoverable, monies that will not come back to any entity, including the county. In that form, that's really, and we're just kind of, we have had, a few. I had requested from the townships, short-ish. I had requested from the townships their balancing statements to contact their assessors and get the information from the assessors for the end of the year, so they could problem shoot, find out if they missed anything, any periods, and it's turned out very good. Working, they were able to get the majority of the townships were able to get the information. We had one township that had an issue with the different values on the end of the year tax roll. And I just got a call from Randy who said, this is it, this, and this. So thank you to him. I gotta give him props. He did a great job, responded super quick, even though he had a full day yesterday. We had narrowed it down to a total amount, and he figured out what that was. That was the discrepancy. So a few little things, housekeeping things, but other than that, it's been going very well. We're, I went to develop IOSCO, the presentation of the gentleman that was here, Christopher Martin. I met my Cato supervisor there and, I believe Alcona supervisor. And there's a lot of exciting things, and it was a really nice program, and I know you're getting forwarded a copy because your name was brought up probably about 10 times. Mr. Austin.
So, yeah, so, I mean, you can say, so they explained there or not that they did get the grant for us.
They did.
We got the email, I'm sure, so our rural readiness grant came through for 50,000. So I had called a couple supervisors and a couple people in my areas to go, what you got to go to, just to see what it's gonna look like when it comes in. And then, did anybody ask that question? Is that what they're gonna do here, or? That was kind of what I was wondering.
They're planning on having workshops here for grant.
So kind of like what you went to, only they'll do that.
I think it's going to be a little more. It could be if the potential for more to be more specific on things. This was a basic overview of what they're looking at, what's available, take a look, take a peek, search it out. And they gave the websites and all the information for that. There's, because it was,
It's 3 hours, so was it a good 3 hours spent?
oh, absolutely, a lot of information, a lot of good information, the grant, the presenter was very knowledgeable, and she does that.
Is that the doctor that he talks about who does the?
She is the, she mentioned you, you guys were a big topic at the meeting.
Yeah, Chris called me this week after
Yeah.
this event. And, they're just in the process right now of setting up the marketing and setting up, the information flow for the two counties.
Mhm.
And so he's connected me to whoever's doing that at DI. And we'll collaborate so that the message is for both counties, not just developed by Osco.
Mhm.
And it is workshops, and they really, really want to do a penetration here across the whole county, west to east. So they're still working the process, so it'll be a bit yet before it'll be ready for prime time, but The good news is we will be connecting people to the rural readiness group, which is where the grant came from, which will put everybody on their email list, which will then help them when it comes time to seeking grants, knowing what's out there, what's available, how you would qualify. And then there's the other piece of it, which is teaching people how to write those grants. So it's gonna be a pretty comprehensive program.
Yeah, the biggest, on the meetings you guys have been to in your townships. And invariably somebody says, if we just had a grant writer, if we just had somebody, we're now gonna be able to give them an answer and say, well, yeah, here you go. You got this opportunity, and that's legitimate.
DI is a very capable organization. They have a lot of resources, so we piggyback on them wherever we can.
That was a good meeting. And that is pretty much all I have for, right, unless anybody has questions. If I'm punching away, there's a few things in the 25 that is not urgent, but we would address that Monday. And 24, we just keep getting more money in, so. We're gonna have to do a budget amendment for 24.
I didn't hear if it came, I know that was floated, did we get the extra revenue sharing money yet, or hasn't been decided?
We did
What?
get.
The Whitmer was gonna do
We got-
It's
another,
decided, but it wasn't.
We did get our payment.
our normal one, but she was gonna bump even what was normal, she said in January. Weren't we gonna get another 6% or something?
No, 3%,
I have to look.
3%, but not on all of it, just on part of it.
Yeah, I just wondered if that had got approved or not, I didn't hear.
I was just told,
Take it.
whenever money comes, Sheila tells me what came in. Haven't had an opportunity, it was just the other day that we got it. So we haven't had an opportunity to review. And their state fiscal year is different than ours, so. Deciding the 25 revenue will be here as opposed to, and we base it off a year and. We may or may not have to amend that.
Thank you. Yeah, okay, well, thanks. Clerk's report.
We've received approved ballots for the May school election, and then we're reviewing them right now. I hope to place an order by the end of the week, and that's really all I have to report.
Mr. Stevenson is not available today for the sheriff's report. Moving on to committees, and we'll start with Carolyn. Well, if you're not ready, we can start the other side.
I can do just give me half a minute here. I gave you all two documents looking on the desks. The first one was Children's Advocacy Center. And we had during the last quarter, the October to December quarter, we had 4 new cases. Total of 34 for the 4 counties. And, 4 counties plus, we had 1 from Chippewa, 1 from Gladwin, and 1 from Muskegon. It saddens me, particularly when we have any from Alcona, but any of them, it's a sad state of affairs that we have children who are having abuse of any nature. But, anyway. I provided you with that. The other thing that I did also provide you with was from SUD, and it's and you probably didn't bring it in with you. If you didn't, that's fine, but, the total, this is just Alcona. They segment it down to individual counties. In 2023 to 22, we had 66 cases, 23 we had 61, but in 24 we had 27. One can only hope that they got reported, and I have no reason to believe they did. One of the other things, we had, again, it shows up in the treatment settings, whether they're outpatient, inpatient, or whatever. For 24, we had 27 that went into treatment. And the year before, we had 56. So it's almost in half. Well, it is in half. And 25 is only 3 months or 4 months into the year. Because they use the fiscal year. The other one that I found interesting, and I think this speaks well, nobody else is in the room that can be applicable to, but we only had, in 23, we had, oh, I'm sorry, I mean, the wrong one, but we have, again, it shows that dramatic difference. And the 11 of our 27, 16 of our 27 were alcohol. All the rest were heroin, marijuana, meth, and so on. The majority, 35%, are treated through Catholic Human Services. Those are mostly, they're totally all outpatient. The other 35% of the 100% are at Sunrise. And if you recall, opioid has done some, you have been kind enough to allow the opioid committee to be sending some money for items at Sunrise Center. They're the closest one, and they're a good one. And when they get them in the building, it'll be even better. The other one that I started to say, nobody else in the room can appreciate this. But when you break out the drug cases in Alcona County for 24, the majority of them were 50 to 64 years of age. If we look at, but there were none over 65. And in 23, we had one person over 65, and in 22, we had none over 65 that were in treatment. So, again, the numbers, I don't know what happened between 23 and 24, but everybody decided, I guess, to get sober or something, or stop using drugs. So anyway, it's kind of a sad state of affairs that we have all of that, but I think it's interesting. And how many of you have heard somebody say, oh, we don't have any drugs in Alcona? We don't have drug problems in Alcona. Well, we do. Sorry about that. 911's meeting is next week. I shared the child advocacy with you. Harbortown again took out their membership with the Scota Chamber of Commerce. We know that we have people who come up from that area or look and see us in their brochures, and they'll come in and say, wow, we didn't know this was here. We're glad we came up. So it's, I think, $165, I want to say. We feel it's money well spent on behalf of Harbortown, or behalf of Precious Paws. Also, the executive director at Sunrise Center is going to be leaving in 6 months. She's done a fabulous job. It's going to be a tremendous loss to the center, but she will be helping us out and will help us after she leaves, if we still need some support and assistance. She said she will be happy to do that, but that's about all I have.
Gary?
Attended Michigan Works and Thunder Bay Transportation Authority. I guess there's something that I just want to touch on. My question to Doug is about the same way. There is a feeling among a couple of these agencies, they do get federal money. They're not sure just some of their I don't think the majority of their programs are going to be affected by what's coming down. But there are some, I'll just point out, Michigan Works has a program. Excuse me, they've never been able to spend any of the money because nobody wants to accept it. They have an electric vehicle program that they want to give, I think it's to the dealerships or whatever, it's a grant where they'll spend money to educate a mechanic in that way. And nobody wants the money.
She went on the fly.
I don't know. Electric vehicles are not a big thing up here,
Nope.
those there are some programs like that out there that, I'm thinking. Some of these, agencies, NIMSCA, which is Head Start and our senior citizens programs. They're, I won't say they're nervous, but they're definitely taking emails and stuff very seriously. And they're looking at, what's happening and, it's a thing. It's out there and, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen. As far as Thunder Bay, their money was pretty well secured. It's not, yeah, they're not gonna have a problem when they have their money, so that's all I got.
Dave,
Craig and I were at the district health meeting last Monday. I think, admissions to hospitals were at max capacity with influenza, flu. Actually, our medical director couldn't even get on the phone because he was covering for another, physician that was sick and couldn't work. Well, that was kind of what else going on, I think, about that. What you think about it. And, the building department is painting the sheriff's department right now. They decided to change, where the deputies are from cubicles to they're gonna have desks. It just didn't work well, so they did tear that out. And I think the sheriff department is gonna put what type of desks or counters that they want in there, so. Trying to get that done before the summer comes,
So the building department is doing the work,
painting,
like Harry and the inspectors, or
no, I mean, what did I say?
you said the building department?
Building and grounds,
Oh, building ground.
I have both of them,
Okay, yeah.
Dave and John.
Harry and John.
No, Dave and John.
yeah,
I was planning a video of scary rolling paint on the wall.
Well, now that James here, no,
Yeah, I mean, we can put his weight hat on and boss him around.
yeah. So,
EMS, so, we didn't have, Adam and I think are on that committee, so we didn't have any formal meetings, but I did, Scott had some paperwork to sign, he intends on having an MFR class. First part of April, yeah. 10 or 12 week MFR class, it did run a little later. I did hear some complaints on it, everybody else did, it was supposed to be in February. Scott did have some family issues with his wife, so I let everybody know that, because they felt like maybe this is getting shut again. So that was the reason it went from February to April, so that was, should be on track now. DHD, I didn't have anything more, I think. To add on that, Parks and Rec, well, we didn't have a meeting yet, but I did talk, so in the last meeting. When the sheriff made the comment about the trails are terrible, so I did a little follow up on that, so the trails were kind of bad, and even though we had a lot of snow. Interestingly, talked to the groomers, and they said the snow was, gonna sound crazy, but if you ever plowed snow, you understand, was acting weird. The snow was not packing right, it wasn't, the groomers weren't doing, they said it was just an odd type of snow. So, it's been rectified, now it's gone, so it doesn't matter. I mean, no snow left, so things, yeah, Parks and Rec's doing fine there, I guess that was it, so I had.
communications in your package, review at your leisure. Last public comment. Doesn't look like we have room for that. Additional comments, concerns, commissioners? So we will adjourn this meeting until March 19th at 1:30 PM.
Okay.
yeah, we'll get things cleaned up. I'll see. We have to do all the time for the folks, or she's not here, but.
I could have gotten one, but now.
You know what, sometimes you do that.
It is.
I did that, I look at it and well, work is, I'm busy, and I look, I do something else, don't do that, right?
Well, that's what when we were talking about.